Welcome to the VidConcierge Show, the podcast that helps health professionals master their delivery, speak with clarity, and show up on camera like the trusted expert they are. In each episode, you'll learn practical techniques and expert insights to elevate how you communicate on video so your message lands, your presence connects, and more people see you as the trusted authority in your field. Let's get started. Hey, and welcome back. Dr. Walter Salubro here. If you've ever watched one of your own videos and thought, why do I sound so slow? Or, I'm talking way too fast. Well, you're not alone. In today's episode, we're going to talk about pace and why controlling your pace is one of the most underrated skills when it comes to filming a video and showing up with confidence. Now, when I review videos from my clients, my VidConcierge clients, or when I audit clients or other health professionals' YouTube channels, I do notice that some docs or some health professionals speak at a natural, slower pace, especially when they're used to explaining things clearly to patients. Now, that may work well in person, but on camera, that same pace can sometimes feel very slow. The message doesn't land, the energy dips, and the viewer just checks out. And that's the worst thing that can happen to you on your YouTube video because it kills your retention, the percentage duration viewed, and your overall watch time. On the other hand, I personally tend to speak very fast if you watch some of my videos on my channel. I get excited, I want to deliver value in a short period of time, but then when I watch back my videos, I sometimes realize that I've rushed through an important concept or point, and sometimes it makes it hard for the viewer to follow. And I've had several of my followers comment about that. So whether your natural tendency is to speak slowly or quickly like I do, this episode will help you find a pace that feels good and also keeps the attention and retention high on your videos. So let's start by answering this one important question. Why does pace even matter? Well, your pace is one of the first things that people notice about how you speak. And oftentimes it's something that they're just noticing subconsciously. And it's not just about the speed, it's about your energy, the confidence, how you present yourself on camera, and also your rhythm. Now, when your pace is too slow, viewers will tune out. And sometimes I find myself doing that when I watch videos, other people's videos. When they feel like the video is just dragging or doesn't match their internal tempo, they'll tune out. On YouTube especially, slow pacing can make a video feel longer than it is. Because YouTube is essentially known for long form content, slow pace can kill the video. But when your pace is too fast, it becomes hard to absorb the message. Viewers feel overwhelmed or rushed, and you come off as nervous, even if you're not. Now, here's the good news. The pace that you feel while speaking is never how it comes across to your audience. And that's one of the things I had to learn personally when I started creating videos is I thought that I sounded differently, but I realized that the audience will pick it up their own way anyways. So you might feel like you're speeding up or slowing down way too much, but the person watching it doesn't even notice it. That awkward feeling, well, it's totally normal, but it's not visible to the viewer. So let's get into 4 pacing techniques in this episode. 2 are going to be for health professionals who speak slowly and know that they need to pick up their pace a bit. And then 2 will be for those that speak faster like myself and they need to slow down their pace a bit. So these techniques will help you make intentional shifts without losing your natural voice. So let's jump right into this. Technique number 1 is the tempo tag. This is for slow speakers. So the first 2 techniques will be for slow speakers. This technique will help you pick up your speed naturally without rushing or sounding unnatural. And here's how it works. Choose one small part of your script or outline that you want to deliver with more energy. Maybe it's your intro. Now, a lot of times I tell my VidConcierge clients, because we script the videos for them, that they need to pick up their pace on the intro. You need to keep the viewer's attention very, very high early on with good energy, especially if they're a slow speaker. Maybe it's a list of tips or things that you're giving them. Here's how it works. Choose one small part of your script or outline that you want to deliver with more energy. For example, the intro is a good place to do this. And I tell my VidConcierge clients when I script the videos for them that they need to pick up their pace a little faster in the intro to capture the viewer's attention and keep it, especially if they're a slow speaker. So mark this as your tempo tag. Mark that script or outline as your tempo tag. Then rehearse that section at a 10 to 15% faster pace than you normally speak. Now, you're not trying to speed through it. You're just picking up the momentum. Like you're excited to get through that point. This will help your viewer feel your energy shift. It keeps their attention and it breaks up the rhythm of your delivery in a very good way. Now let's move on to technique number 2. Again, this is for the slow speakers out there. Record with a standing setup. I always record all my videos with a standing setup, and I find that when I sit down, I actually slow my pace a bit more. So for those of you that are slow speakers, recording standing up is very good. If your energy feels flat or your words are dragging, then definitely record standing up. Sitting naturally slows your pace down and your speech down. You become more relaxed, which is great in practice when you're consulting with your patients, but on camera, it kills your pace. Standing engages your whole body, it activates more energy, and your voice naturally speeds up a little bit. You get more excited to deliver that content. So try this. Stand and imagine you're talking to one patient across the room, and keep your hands gently moving as you speak. A lot of my clients do that. They put their motion and their hand gestures into the conversation, into the filming. You'll notice your words will come out much more smoother and faster without you trying to force it. Okay, the next two techniques are for our fast speakers. So technique number 3, the pause check. And I'm gonna have a whole episode just on the power of the pause, but in the moment, let me give you some things you can start off with. So for our fast speakers, if you talk fast like I do, you probably forget to pause. And I know what that feels like. I remember doing a lot of videos in the past where I really just bullet through the content. Pausing is where trust lives. Plus it creates a moment of suspense, like keeping the viewer waiting for what's next. I remember watching a video online by Brian Tracy. He's another one of my favorite trainers out there, and he taught this power of the pause wonderfully. It's a great technique, and here's how you do it. When you finish a key sentence or idea, count to yourself 1,000 in your head, okay? So before you go on to the next concept or the next tip or the next phrase, when you want to deliver the pause, just say or count to yourself 1,000. Okay, this is done in your head, okay? This pause will create a space and allows the viewer to digest what you said, and it gives you a moment to reconnect before moving on. Now, you might feel like you're waiting too long. I know that when I've practiced pausing, I felt like it was a long, long time, but the viewer will not notice that. The viewer is going to be in a moment of suspense and just waiting for you to see what's coming next. That's key. So pauses are not really silence. They're a powerful tool that keeps the viewer engaged and keeps them watching, which is essentially what you want to build a massive audience on YouTube. Okay, technique number 4 for our fast speakers out there. Breathe at the punctuation mark. Fast talkers often run through a full section of the video without breathing, and I know what that feels like. This will ramp up the anxiety level and also speed up the delivery even more. So instead, try this. Every time you hit a period in your script or a natural full stop, take one deep breath. Even if it's a short one, just like that, just like what I did right now. Just enough to slow your rhythm and reset your presence. This works wonderfully, by the way, especially when you're speaking about a serious or an important topic. It's just another way of using the power of the pause, and it signals that you're talking about something that is very important, that you want the audience to really dial in. It's also one of the fastest ways to slow down without trying to slow down. It simply feels natural when you take a pause with a breath. Now, pacing will feel awkward or weird at first, especially if you're trying to speak faster and you're not a fast speaker, or if you're trying to speak slower and you're not a slow speaker like myself. And you may even feel a little fake doing it. But remember, the viewer only hears the final version of your video. They're not going to ever feel what you're feeling while recording the video. And when your pace matches your message, people stay with you and they watch your video in its entirety, which is exactly what you want to build a massive following. So don't let this awkwardness stop you. You course correct, you keep adjusting and improving, and you keep practicing. And over time, you will see that not only does it get easier, but it begins to sound natural. All right, here's your action step for this episode. Remember, in every episode, I'm going to give you some things to do to go ahead and practice the technique that you just learned. So here's your action step for today. Record a short 60-second video explaining a common patient concern or a topic that you want to discuss. For example, let's say the topic is, how long does it take for sciatica leg pain to heal? Now, if you're usually or normally a slow speaker, pick one 10-second section of that script and apply the tempo tag technique. Deliver that part just a little faster to create energy and contrast. Now, if you're usually a quick speaker like myself, choose one sentence where you're going to apply the pause check, okay, the power of the pause. Pause for 1 second after your main point is delivered to let it land. Then go ahead and watch the playback and take notice. to see how the pace shifted your entire energy, your clarity, and how the message was delivered with more impact, all without feeling awkward to you as the viewer, as you're watching it from the viewer's perspective. Okay, so that's your action step for this episode. Okay, so what's coming up in the next episode? Next time on the VidConcierge show, we're going to dive deeper into the power of pausing. I love this episode. I can't wait to get into it. You'll learn how to use short, intentional pauses to make your delivery sound confident, compelling, clear. So thank you again for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. That's it for today's episode of the VidConcierge show. Always remember, how you show up on camera shapes how people see you. So keep practicing, keep showing up, and keep leaning into the role as the trusted expert. If you got value from this episode, take a moment to rate it, review it, and subscribe. It really helps the show grow. And if you want a free audit of your YouTube channel, that's by me, head over to www.valtoriamedia.com/audit. Your personalized channel audit will show you what's working on your channel, what's missing, and what to fix next, so you get more visibility and authority with your videos. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time on the VidConcierge show.